The Violet Car by Edith Nesbit and read by Christopher Halton. I had never been in Yorkshire before, and the word conjured up a vague picture of a bare brown country with moors and lead mines and ruined abbeys, and a certain type of deep-voiced, deep-drinking, hospitable squires dwelling in halls something between farmhouses and castles. So when the doctor sent me down into Yorkshire to nurse an old woman who had nerves, I made my picture accordingly. But the picture was wrong. For one thing, there were no abbeys within reach, and no moors, and the hall was a neat new house, rather like a red brick villa, only bigger. The old lady, my patient, was more like a retired governess than a squire's wife. She had been staying with friends, and the friend's doctor had ordered her a trained nurse. She had had a breakdown, it was said. She was not really old, 50 perhaps, but very faded, and her hands were never still, and her eyes had that watchful, hunted look that makes one sorry and impatient at once. Her husband was kindness itself, but one could see that he had long ago lost patience with her nervous fancies, and had fallen into the way of soothing her, as one soothes a fretful child. I thought at first that he was her son. He looked so much younger. He was a handsome man, well set up, with a healthy brown skin and kind blue eyes. The house was modern and comfortable, with French windows opening on the lawn, hot water pipes and electric light. But for all its comfort, the place was curiously cheerless. Mrs. Wilcox, my patient, was gentle and grateful and considerate, but I could see from the first that she was afraid of something. At first I thought she was afraid of her husband, but this could not be, for he was the most attentive of husbands and seemed really fond of her. What is it she is afraid of? I asked myself. It was on the second evening, when I was sitting with her by the fire, that she said suddenly, "You think me very foolish, nurse, don't you?" I said I did not think her foolish, but nervous and unstrung. "I dare say you are right, but it is very hard to bear. I can't tell you what it is I am afraid of. I don't know myself. But I know there is something." She stopped, and her eyes wandered around the room, as though she feared some invisible presence. At that moment her husband came in. He looked at her with a smile that was meant to be reassuring, but it was rather weary too. "Well, little woman," he said cheerfully, "talking over your fancies again." She flushed and was silent. After she had gone upstairs, he said to me, "I suppose you have guessed that my wife is not quite, rational. She has this one delusion. She believes she has seen a violet-coloured motor car." He spoke lightly, but I could see he was really troubled. "There is nothing extraordinary in that," I said. "Why should she not have seen one?" "Because there isn't one," he answered shortly. "Not in this part of the world, at any rate. We're out of the track of motors. And this is no ordinary fancy of hers. She insists that the car has killed someone, her daughter." "Her daughter?" I repeated in surprise. "Yes, our daughter," he said gravely. "She died abroad 2 years ago. My wife was not with her at the time. She was very ill herself, too ill to travel. She never saw the child after she left England, and now she declares that she has seen her killed by this violet car. She even says that she saw it run over her, and that the body was carried away in the car. She says she has seen it more than once, here on these roads." "But," I said, "is it not possible that she may have dreamed it, and that the dream has become fixed in her mind?" "That's just what I think," he said. "But she won't be persuaded, she is certain. And the strange thing is that she says she has seen the car in broad daylight, when she was out walking." He sighed and added, "I sometimes think I shall go mad myself if this goes on. It is breaking her down, and me too." The next day I went out alone for a walk. The country was beautiful, though rather desolate, long stretches of lonely road between high hedges, and here and there a little grey village clustered round its church. At one of these villages I stopped at the inn for a glass of milk. The landlord, a talkative old fellow, soon began to ask questions. "You're staying up at Wilcox's place, aren't you, miss?" "Yes," I said. Ah, he shook his head. Poor lady, poor lady. You mean Mrs. Wilcox? I asked. Yes, she's not quite right in her head, is she? I said something non-committal. She talks about a motor car, violet-coloured. There ain't no such thing. Leastways, I never heard tell of one. But she says she's seen it. Some of the lads here say they've seen it too, late at night, going down the hill by the church. But that's all nonsense. Motors don't run this way. And if they did, they wouldn't be violet. When I got back to the house, I found Mrs. Wilcox sitting at the window, looking out at the road. I have seen it again, she said, turning to me with trembling lips. It went by, just now. Didn't you hear it? I had heard nothing. It went by, she repeated. Slowly, so slowly, and my child was lying in it, dead. Her hands went up to her face. I tried to soothe her, but she shrank away from me. That evening, when her husband came in, she said suddenly, James, you must not go out tonight. Promise me you will not. Why not, little woman? He asked. Because the violet car will be on the road tonight. He laughed and kissed her, but I could see the shadow on his face. That night I could not sleep. The wind moaned round the house, and now and then a dog barked far away. I thought of what Mrs. Wilcox had said, and I found myself listening. About midnight I went to the window. The road lay white in the moonlight. For a long time there was nothing, only the still hedges and the glimmering fields. Then, far away, I heard a sound. It was like the hum of a motor. It came nearer, nearer, and presently, turning the corner of the lane, I saw it. A motor car, violet-coloured. I could see the shine of its lamps, the gleam of its paint, the white faces of two men in front. Slowly it passed, and in the back was a figure lying very still, a girl with a white face and closed eyes. I clutched at the curtain, trembling. The car went by, very slowly, very silently, though I could still hear the hum of its engine. Then it vanished into the night. For a long time I stood staring after it. When at last I turned, Mrs. Wilcox was standing behind me. You have seen it too, she said quietly. Now you know. She went back to her room, calm, almost triumphant. When I told her husband what I had seen, he only shook his head. You are overtired, he said. It was a dream. It cannot be true. But I know what I saw, and so does his wife. The end.